This is the Friday video. Looking forward to next week for Monday. And the Euro-dollar chart, annual chart, again, as I did on the British pound, I want to just step back a little bit and try and figure out where we are, a bigger picture. So annual charts, in the last 2.5 years, we have a pattern of inside, outside, inside. So it really doesn't do anything for me as it stands at the moment. It creates almost a diamond pattern. You draw the ascending, the descending, the ascending, the descending. Now, in reality, I think that there's a couple of levels one could highlight in here. It's the settlement from a couple of years ago at 145.90, and we'll review that in just a moment in terms of some short date charts as to why that level is probably pretty key going forward. First, let's go to the quarterly chart, and well, you can see we're playing with the tail end of last December when we had that vicious rally up to 147.20, and well, we need to go down a degree still further to the monthly chart, because this is producing a pattern which is pretty interesting. So this was the December top, but look at this. We got in September last year to 148.46. We got this year to 148.44. In fact, we've actually had a couple of days testing at 148.44 with a failure to extend. So if we go down to the weekly degree, we find that back in June, back in August, so the beginning of June, the beginning of August, and even at the beginning of July, we had selling. In September we had buying. It's not unreasonable to suspect that with Wednesday being the end of the month that we might get some selling. So let's just take a look at what was that level? 145.90. Oh my, that was the settlement from 2 weeks ago. And this week we've been basing off at 146.10, 146.14, 15. It's not unreasonable to say, well, if we start taking out 145.90, we should go a little bit deeper, in which case we could probably take a look at this and say we've got about 60-70 pips to get underneath last week's, and that was the prior week's low, which would take you down to about 144.5. And what was 144.5? Oh, it was the breakout level, wasn't it? The recent breakout level. So let's go down to a daily to see whether we can establish where would be a particular Sunday night type session. So often on Sunday night, Asia loves to run the stops, and it's trading spot value for the end of the month, although as far as I'm concerned, it's actually the settlement on Wednesday which is more important rather than Monday's trade in terms of looking at the monthly chart. So let's just take a look at this, and we can see that if we start taking out 146.53, Thursday's settlement, that we're likely to drive lower. And so 146.53 becomes pivotal, looking for a break, of the 146.10 level, and then 145.90. And the deeper we go, the more that people will start to look at this in terms of the whole month of September, with the little double bottom down at just shy of 142. And so I put a Fibonacci retracement on here, and we can see that reversion to the mean would take us just below 145, at which point the market is likely to step in and buy it and bid it back up. Just before concluding, I want to have a quick look at the 60-minute chart. Remind everybody that we have some Chinese holidays this coming week, and so maybe that might take out one of the larger players who tends to want to sell dollars. And we look at the hourly chart, and what we can see is the double top off at 148, 43 and 44, and a series of lower highs which are in development, starting to spend some time underneath the moving averages. And all I've done is I've drawn kind of a best fit channel trend here, which, you know, bit by bit would give you about 145 and a half, and it's not descending at a particularly steep level. So maybe what we need to do is rock and roll the channel a little bit.